Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video we're going to talk about all the tier 1 weapons that would be good straight after the wipe and also a bit later on, and I'll explain the reasons why. So let's crack straight into it. First up with Prapor, we've got pretty much 3 weapons to pick from. You've got the Makarov, the TT and the Vityaz. Now the PM Makarov is pretty much useless, don't worry about using that one. The TT is probably your pistol of choice out of all the pistols. It does have very high damage. However, in my opinion, you can get a lot more out of an SKS than you can a TT, except for the fact that the TT is quite cheap, but I still don't recommend getting it. There's just better options out there for starting out. Next, we've got the Vityaz. Now, this is probably my number 2 weapon of choice. The reason why I'd pick this is it's got a full auto function, as well as that post-wipe, there's not going to be a lot of people wearing armor. And it does use PST ammo, and you'll be able to just penetrate anything that's really basic with that. Otherwise, you've also got the PSO ammo. It's got a 30 round mag, it's available straight off the start, and better yet, it's also got the Cobra sight EKP you can mount straight onto it, and that way you've got an actual sight straight off the bat. This works out quite useful very early on, and you will be able to kill people quite quickly using it. Next up with Skier, you've got a fair few options. However, when it comes to shotguns, being the TOS, the 153 and the 133, I'd probably not recommend getting them, purchasing them, because they are quite expensive, and it's probably better to spend your money on something that you're going to use longer term. As well as that, you can actually loot 153 shotguns quite consistently throughout the map off scavs. So I'd probably move on to using the SKS as a weapon of choice, and then looting a 153 as a secondary, and then that way if you die and you've got a few 153s in your stash, you can use them later by just purchasing the ammo straight from Skier. So now moving on to what I would say would be the best weapon out of all the tier 1s, the SKS. It's not too expensive. What you can also do is remove this rear sight, and it does open up the view when you're shooting, and that's very helpful. You just purchase your magazine straight from Skier and the PS ammo from Prapor 1. This combination will actually penetrate through most people's armor, your forts, and also your UN armors if people were lucky enough to loot them. But at the very start, after a wipe, there will be some people going around with kivers on and fort armors, as they get that from their Edge of Darkness edition. And this will be your option to be able to drop them pretty quickly. Another good thing about it is, if you start using this later in the game, if you reset your account later in a wipe, the options are to use your SKS. You'll be able to drop people with armor later on. But the best part about it is, no one really loots them because they're not the OP SKS later on, and therefore you'll get a lot of them back in insurances, making it a very reusable item, and you'll be able to use it a lot more later on. If you say you're starting a month into the wipe, or you're looking at this video and you're new to Tarkov, this is probably your best weapon of choice. It's not fully automatic, it's semi-auto, but it is. It uses 20 round magazines, and it's very useful. Now next we do have the VPO, or the VEPA 209. The difference between this and the SKS isn't a lot. However, the ammunition it uses is the Echo ammo, and this has very little penetration. So you've got the option of having 10 extra rounds but not being able to penetrate armor at all, and being able to two-shot someone, to a weapon that does penetrate armor and will two-shot anyone anyway. So in my opinion, you got 10 less rounds, but it'll be a lot more effective using the SKS. One last thing to point out with the SKS and the VPO 209 is the recoil difference. Now, the SKS is only a 265, whereas the VPO has a 390. So the kick is a lot more using the VEPA, and therefore making the SKS even better in comparison. Next, we've got the Saiga 9. I wouldn't waste your time with this at all, as the Vityaz is the exact same, but except for full auto. The TOS, don't get me started. It's a waste of time. It's a bit of a meme gun. It's a lot of fun, but in my opinion, don't waste your money on it. Now, with Peacekeeper, you can see that the MP5 is available here. However, it doesn't get unlocked until you finish the scrap metal task, as I just learnt. So there's no point saying you should buy an MP5. There is the P226 pistol. It is the same ammunition as a Vityaz. However, I wouldn't recommend purchasing this one, as it's probably not the best choice of firearm, because you could just use a Vityaz instead. Lastly but not least, we have Mechanic. Mechanic does sell the Glock pistol. It is a pretty fun gun to use straight off the bat. However, it does use Euros, and it's still using the 9x19 ammunition. Out of all the pistols, I still wouldn't recommend this. If you're going to use a pistol, I'd use the TT from Prapor 1. But overall, it is a fun one to use. You do have the option to use it, but ultimately, I'd highly recommend just using the TT. So lastly, there you have it. That's pretty much all the tier 1 weapons you can purchase. You can get firearms from Fence during the wipe or straight after the wipe, and there will be some other stuff available, but it's not going to be consistent. So I can't really just say, oh, just go check out Fence and pick up whatever you can get there. I'd recommend looking at the stuff from Prapor and Scare being the Vityaz and the SKS. Lastly, you can use the AK-74N using the 2 BlackRock trade from Prapor. However, using this option, it is quite expensive, and if you just use the SKS or the Vityaz straight off the bat, get some levels under your belt, you'll be able to use the AK-74N and other firearms later on pretty quickly. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting a lot of money buying BlackRocks. You can find BlackRocks, use it, and get that trade that way instead, but then I'd probably just rather use the BlackRocks. So guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for future content. I stream Monday to Friday, 9 AM Australian Eastern Standard Times, as well as Sunday. I'm doing a onesie stream this Sunday. Be sure to check that out. And lastly, I'll see you next time.